once upon a time, right, when I were to ask anybody, right, what are some of the biggest company there is in Southeast Asia? Naturally, we will gravitate towards thinking the giants in FSI, manufacturing, telcos, energy, right? The leaders, or in other words, the Goliath of the industry. Albeit that remains true today, it is undeniable that the Davids, the digital natives company, have sharpened their spear to battle it out in Southeast Asia and even globally. So let me tell you why that's the case. I think over the 24 months when we were stuck at home, scrolling through social platforms like LinkedIn, it has been, multiple endless reports on how startup XYZ has received XXX million dollars in funding, right? It is almost very, very uncommon. In fact, it's not unheard of that these two companies here, for instance, raised fairly recently. VN Payment app Momo raised this month. They raised $200 million in their recent funding round. And in October last month, ULA was also supported by Jeff Bezos, raised 87 million in their second round, right? And I think most recently, Grab, everyone knows this, they have successfully been listed on NASDAQ. So all these buzz, right? All these numbers, all this funding, I think it begs us to wonder, how big actually is the digital economy? How big is it? I think it's unfair to just say a number and say this industry is worth XX million because it doesn't provide any meaning to it. So I wanted to take an example of two companies that are very well known, right? SEA Group, we all know, the owner of Shopee, the owner of Garena, and most recently, they joined fintech with C Money, right? This company, and then the contender we have, the Goliath in this match, is DBS Bank. I think DBS needs no introduction. So when you look at the market capitalization or the valuation of this company, C Group is now valued at 120 billion US dollars. The lowest it's been since this beginning of this year, frankly. And DBS is at $61 billion. That is almost double the amount, right? And why is that the case? And if you look at even revenue growth, right? C Group is reporting promising numbers. Obviously, it's important to note that these are 2019-2020 numbers because 2021 reporting is, upcoming, but not yet been released. But the revenue growth of C Group is 10 times the revenue growth of DBS. And DBS is arguably one of the most digital bank there is in Asia. You can ask my colleagues from BFSI team, Veronica, anybody would know that, right? But C Group is not an outlier. In fact, there are actually about 18,300 plus Davids in Southeast Asia. And these are just some of the companies that I've listed here to show you. Obviously, Grab, GoTo, we all know that those names, right? But one very important fact in all these companies listed here is that they all share one single commonality. That is, each of them has generated a minimum of 50 million US dollars in funding this quarter alone. That's $50 million between, October to December, right? That is incredible amount of money. And Southeast Asia currently actually holds 5% of the global VC funding, right? And these people are not just taking money. They're not just taking, VC's money. They are actually generating their own revenue. And we estimate that the market is at 250 billion by the end of this year. So that is a huge number, right? That only a handful of industry can say that number, even if it's a legacy industry. So I think it's important for us to then wonder, how do I capture this opportunity? Albeit, you being maybe perhaps a company, a technology vendor, what can we do? Like, how can we tap onto this market? Because it's not just for digital businesses, right? So one example I want to give is DBS and Property Guru. I think for those who didn't know, Property Guru and DBS came out with delivered an end-to-end customer journey partnership where essentially home buyers can scroll, discover houses on Property Guru, while check their mortgage loan eligibility, etc. through DBS and get mortgage loan approved directly on DBS. And if one more fact I want to pull out is that in 2020 alone, right, almost 3 in 4 customers applied for mortgage online, right? And one more way to look at it, the digital application for mortgage from 2019 was actually 42%, and in 2020 it became 73%. So what does this mean for DBS, beside managing one of the biggest mortgage there in Singapore, is that it increased engagement with its consumer. They ingrained themselves in the consumer life, and they became a step closer, in branchless banking, right? They don't need a branch to operate anymore. So let's not talk about companies then. Let's move on to the next story. Let's talk about technology. I think everyone here know that, technology, like cloud, is one of the core technology that needs to be adopted if a company seeks for agility and scalability. So we did a study over this year and found that the top spender in Southeast Asia on cloud are actually digital natives company. So across Singapore, Malaysia, and Indonesia, the biggest spender on cloud is actually digital natives company. But when you look at other core industries, financial services, public sector, energy, etc., they're nowhere near there. With outliers in Singapore, of course. And digital natives, I would say, single-handedly, made the cloud market so vibrant as it is today. In fact, today they account for 34% of public cloud spending. And this growth obviously benefited the providers, AWS, GCP, even Alibaba Cloud, right? In fact, for those who didn't know, AWS actually launched their region in Indonesia this month, and they are now committed to invest another $5 billion more. So digital natives is very much a reality, right, for a lot of businesses. So again, how do we capture the opportunity? I think, as my colleagues have summarized, and if I were to put it into 3 buckets, I would say 3 things. First, invest. Invest not just in money, but invest in time, invest in the program, invest in your marketing to engage with these digital native businesses, right? And second, partner. Partner when think about the business or the adjacencies where you can include the digital natives companies as part of your business model. Think about how DBS included Property Guru, right? So that's one thing. The next is transform. Think about how your business can play in the digital economy. So, these 3 things itself, choosing 1, choosing 2, choosing 3, all is important for anyone who wants to capture the opportunity in the digital economy. So if you don't take anything away else from this presentation today, I would just want to leave with one note, which is, I think that in the world we're living in today, is too high of an opportunity cost for us to actually overlook the digital native and its economy and not having a strategy on actually how do we tap onto this revolution. So definitely we are happy to discuss with you, and for the 3rd time, we are sharing a lot more insights on the digital economy and how it would change Asia and how it would play out. So look out for our podcast that is going to launch in January 2022. Asia Tech Room is going to be on Twinbit, Spotify, and also Apple Podcasts. So with that, thanks everyone for your time today.